So let's work across the navigation bar and go into the content area. This is where we're going to see a dramatic difference. When I first saw this new interface, I thought, uh-oh. So after working with it, I realized that if we dissect it, we can make it a lot more manageable. If we think about it as two distinct panels, the left panel and the right panel, each with their own functions. So let's begin with the left panel. We'll start at the top and work our way through. The Search Topics area could come in very handy. If I want to find all the quizzes in the course, I will type quiz and click on the magnifying search. And in this particular class, there is only one quiz, but it would list all the quizzes. And look, it shows me when it ends. So really could be quite handy, especially for students. The course overview is a new concept that we didn't quite know what to do with in the beginning. If you put nothing in for the course overview, it will simply not display for students. But let me explain the concept to you. I put an image in here plus some directions, what to do next, since this is going to be new for even students. To edit that, I click on the pencil over on the right, and here is my HTML editor, and I can create that. The Bookmarks tab is the next item on the left-hand column, and we can see that there's a number 1 here. That means that I have bookmarked a page within the content area. So it tells me I do have one bookmark, and if I click on it, it tells me that Module 1 Intro is the page that I can go to by clicking on this link. Next is the upcoming events, and this also is driven by the calendar. And if we click on the item, it will show us the same thing that is on the home page. What is happening today, tomorrow, and within the next 7 days, things coming up in the future. Up here are 2 options. If we click on Course Schedule, it will list everything that is within the class. It's a summary for both you and for students. The table of contents indicated here, 28 items. If I click on the table of contents, it will list the complete course, similar to the list that we had in the previous version. I hope you're starting to feel comfortable now with this new version of Desire to Learn. I would like to show you now how to add a module. In the left pane at the very bottom, you'll see Add a Module. So if we click that, we can type in a title and hit enter, and you can see we now have Module 4. Another opportunity here would be to show you how to move things around, and this is typical throughout the new system. If you see this icon here on the left, the 3 dashes, I can take and hover over that, left click, and just drag it into place. When you see that bar between 3 and 5, just let go. So now it's highlighted blue, so that means that we are now in Module 4 and we can start adding content. But let's start at the top and work through the module. We're now working in the right pane. We saw on the course overview page at the top that I had added an image and some text with some directions. Within each module, you can do that as well, and it is called Add a Description. When you click here, you'll have the HTML editor that you can work within to create either an announcement or insert an image to soften the page, whatever might be most appropriate for your class. So we're going to work down this page. One thing in version 10.1 is the term published, and if I click here, draft. Published means that students can see it. Draft is another word for hidden. So if we make this a draft, students will not be able to see Module 4 in their list, and it's clearly identified on the left pane that it is a draft, to remind you. But I'm going to make this available to people. Here now is Add Restrictions. These are familiar items that we had in the previous version, which would be you cannot see this until you take the quiz in Module 3. Those are the types of conditions, and you can either browse for existing conditions or create new ones. You would then update. I'm going to cancel since we're not applying those. So now I want to start adding content into the module. I can click on New and choose any of these options here. You might be thinking about where those items were in the previous version. Well, if we take a look, they were located right here under Add a Topic. And these are where we would navigate through to figure out what we wanted to add to that module. Here we have drop-down menus, but so we can either add a new document, create a link, maybe we'll create a new Dropbox. The next option would be to add an activity, and you can see them all listed here. Let's add a discussion. So the system now knows we want discussions, so it will list for us all of the discussions that we have available to us. So I'm going to insert one, and you can see here we have it. You can add a submodule with the same ease that you use to add a module. The submodule you access through the module you want to add it to. And as simple as the other, add a submodule, click, give it a title, hit enter, and you now have your submodule with all the controls of a real module to add content to it. It's as simple as that. Under More Actions, this is where you're going to find Delete a Module. It's a little bit unintuitive, but you have to be in the module you want to delete. So say I want to delete Module 5. I would come into More Actions and delete this module. So you would make that decision here. Okay, now my module is gone. So going back to Module 4, you may have seen this outline area here, drag and drop files to create and update topics. This is very new for version 10.1 and really quite easy. Let me show you how it works. You can open your Explorer window and drag any file over from here and drop it onto this area. When it turns green, just let go. This is a Word document, and you can see that it's now available. What the drag and drop process did during that quick and easy maneuver was it made a link here in our module. It also put the file into our Manage Files area in the root directory. One side note here would be if we want to preview this, after it's displayed, it is similar to a PDF. Recall, we dragged over a Word file. This is not editable, and it also does not need to be opened. If you recall, when you offer a student a Word document, they click on it, and it then asks the student if they want to open it or save it, and then it has to wait for Word to open in order for the student to get the content. This is very quick, very easy, and makes for a quick presentation of the material for the student. You can also click View as Text, which strips out all of the formatting and just presents the text. Students can also download by clicking on this icon in the lower right-hand corner. Another welcome option that I would like to point out to you are the breadcrumbs up here. They're not visible on every page, but as you get deeper into the system, you can hover over these. I'm going to click and go right back to the table of contents. Let's return to the course information module, and let's preview the syllabus. This is the template format, but what I wanted to point out here is the width of the viewing area that we're seeing in version 10.1. Now compare this with our previous version. You can see a lot of this real estate on the screen for the menu on the left is using up, and it's causing us to look at the syllabus, the actual document, in a little bit narrower format. So again, with this in mind, think about mobile devices. We're giving a lot more screen real estate to your content. Let's use the breadcrumbs and go back one step to the course information module. When we look at the quiz here that is listed and we edit this, we use the action menu that we learned about on the home page, and we want to edit the properties. If I want to edit the dates that this is available, I can just click on that item here, and it is displayed for me, and I can add a start date and adjust it. And if I update this, it not only updates the link, but it updates the tool within the quiz area. So if we go back now into the quizzes from the menu, you'll see that the start date has been changed to the 16th of the month. Quite a nice, streamlined way to update your files. Notice that my release conditions are also available for creation or editing from the content area. Very convenient. You may have noted on the right-hand side these check marks, and they also have an action menu. These are the completion method options you'll have. The new student progress system in version 10.1 allows for triggers so you can better and more precisely monitor what the students have accomplished. So under this action menu, I can have it be automatic completion, which is the default, and typically that's what you would want. Manual completion and no completion tracking at all. So right now it is set for automatic. Let me show you from the student side what it looks like. We are now impersonating a student who's enrolled in the class, and this is their view for this particular module. And note that there are a couple check marks and a couple dots. When I go in to participate in the class discussion and then return to the module, the item is unchanged. I would have to actually post in order for this check mark to become a dot, which then also interacts with this progression bar for specifically this module. There are 2 out of 4 topics that have been completed, so the progression bar shows 50%. These then will report back to the system. And when we get into the student progress changes, I think you'll be quite pleasantly surprised and amazed at what we can see now.